so this is part 2 now. So my luck hasn't changed very much. Taking the wheel off, that went well. And then next you've got to take out these grub screws, 3 grub screws. This one worked well, come out straight away. Just used this. Had to go and get these from Screwfix. It's Aussie drive number 4. So, where are you? Quite a large Aussie drive. Ooh. Dropsy. Quite a large, focus. Aussie drive number 4. Okay. So these ones, that one rounded off, as did this one. So again, on YouTube, I've seen somebody use a punch. To keep punching around the screw in an anti-clockwise position, obviously to loosen it up. I'm using plenty of this on all of it. Now I'm running out. So I'll just show you. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? See if I get you a bit closer. Right. So you get your punch in and you hit it. And as you can see, hopefully it's moving a little bit. It's undoing. So again, just got to be patient, boys and girls. Will eventually come out. So put you on hold there till I get them out. Okay, I've loosened it off enough with the centre punch, so hopefully this will get it out all the way now. So I'll just try this, see if this works. Hey, there we go, that little grub screw. That's what the head looks like. After chasing it out with the centre punch. So while you're there, let's just have a go on the third one. Oh, no, wrong way. Nope. A bit more juice. So I'm going to start from here down. Oh, I think it's moving already. Yeah, see that? See him spinning ever so slightly. Try this already, might work, fingers crossed. Yay! There we go, third one's out. This should come away now, this is a half shaft. So I need a receptacle to go underneath, catch any oil that comes out. It's raining yet again. So I'm just going to give a hub, a tap, here's the tap. I think it's come loose already. Nope. What is that? A minute. Leave her out then. Try and catch the oil. It's a very windy day. There shouldn't be too much oil, but going all over the drive. And what we've got behind will be a huge nut, 65mm, which I've had to buy special, which has arrived to my today, which is why I'm doing this job today. This is a half shaft that's coming out now, about 3 or 4 foot long. So you want to put it somewhere where you're not going to get rubbish all over it, so mine's going in my shed. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to get it back in today. We'll soon find out. There we go. Here she comes. There we go. So that was a success. I need a new gasket now. Go back on because obviously this one's all broken to bits. I'll just leave these bits up and take them off. I'm going gentle so I'm not scratching the metal, I'm just getting that. That's to go off. What I'll do is I'll clean this up with my wire brush before we put it all back in together. So I need a special tool, my 65mm socket, I'm going to try to get this on. A bit of a clean up. Yeah, just that oil. Nasty. Here we go, guys. It's got my super duper new tool. Huge socket. That was all my weight and all my strength to get that off. Not sure of the torque on these, but it was something astronomical, like 500 Newton meters or something. Which is basically a 16 stone man jumping up and down on a 4 foot long half-inch breaker bar. I will borrow my mate's HGV super duper torque wrench. Right, what will happen when I take these off is there's 2 races that come out. There's 3 in total, I think. 2 come out. One stays in. There's the beastie. Whoop. There's one race. Goes thin side in. There we go. There is a third one in there. Just get rid of all this oil so it's not dripping everywhere. Okay guys, that's it, the hub's off. I've now got to separate the disc from the hub, which is a little bit different to the front, so I'll show you that method in a minute. Just going to pack this away and tidy up and cover this up with something because it's raining and I don't particularly want it to go all rusty and stuff, so I think I'll get a plastic bag and cable tie it around there for a minute. Just give it a bit of a clean up first. Okay, so I've covered that up so no water gets in because it's a bit of a nasty day. And now, to separate the disc from the hub, I'll take this ABS ring off. The best way of doing that is to very gently, and I mean gently, just keep going around like this. Don't hit it too hard. You've got to take it off because these torque bolts will not come up far enough to let you remove the disc. So there's a clever design for you. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going round, I'm looking for the side that's the lowest and hitting that up so it's not putting too much strain on that particular point. Twango. Didn't quite want that to happen, but it's the ABS ring in one piece. Time to should use a squirt. Okay guys, so I'm using my torque wrench to loosen these off. Got air on there, tell you. Okay, last one. So we'll give it a go. Done. This is a bit of keeping, needs cleaning up. This is a bit within it. So it's the next day again now. Just cleaning all this up a bit. Make sure there's no gunk on it, which there is at the moment. We'll go. Brought the assembly back out. So here's a new disc. So if this was the old disc, you take this ring off like I showed you, take these T50 torques out, clean it all up, copper grease it where necessary, put the T50 torques back in, tightened up to about 50 foot-pounds, put the ABS ring back on, then hopefully everything's in reverse order to get it back on. So we'll have a go at that now. So, this first. Oh, that was easy. Right, now I need the racing inner ring. There we go. goes over there like that. Then last the race, presses on to centralise everything up. Last but not least, the hub to hold it all together. So I'm on the driver's side. This nut is righty tighty, lefty loosey. On the other side, it's lefty tighty, righty loosey. So you've got to remember that when you're taking it off, because if you do it the wrong way, obviously you're going to be tightening it up. Right, I've swapped sides with you. Let's see what you should be doing. This one's torqued up to something ridiculous. You need to check it, but it's something like 500 Newton meters. Which is about that. So I cleaned all this off yesterday as well with the wire wheel. Took off the little bits of gasket that was left on it. Now on the half shaft there's the rest of the gasket, so I've got to go and clean that off. Put a new gasket on, which I got from a Ford dealership. So a pack of 2 plastic gaskets, 30 quid. There you go, all adds up, doesn't it? Okay, here's a packet of new gaskets, 2 in there. And they just go on the end of the half shaft. Show you in a minute. Okay, I've got a half shaft. Anyway, that goes back in here. Gently. Gently does it. Oh. Would be to line it up with these, wouldn't it? I guess. Careful we don't want to break it or anything. Check the grub screw holes line up. Like so. So what you've got to do is you've got to kind of pull it down a bit to the far end up, so the splines go in the female bit at the other end. Make sure you've got your grub screws lined up. Now we just need our new grub screws in here, and that's that bit done. So hooray! Right, I'll tighten them up to the correct torque when I've checked it in the manual. I'm quite pleased with that. So that's a new gasket on, new disc on. This is different to the front ones because you've got to twist that piston and push it in at the same time. And again, this side's either righty tighty lefty loosey or lefty tighty righty loosey. I'll let you know when I find out which. But I'm going to clean it up first, wire brush. Right. Okay. So now on the caliper, like I said, they're a bit different to the front. So you've got to put pressure on the top of the piston and at the same time turn it. This is a bit of a cheat way, so I've got one of these clamps, set of grips. So, not really sure if you can see what's going on, but I'll just give a demo. So grip the piston, tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, turn, tighten, bit by bit. And you'll see the piston begin to go in. And what you need to do is there's 2 notches in this piston, and they need to be in line with the centre of this, so going straight down there. I'll show you when we go. I reckon we're not far off there. In fact, I reckon that might be spot on. Let's have a look. There we go. So the piston's been weighing down. Tighten, turn. It's down to the appropriate depth, which is about 5 or 6 mil above these rubber washers. And we'll come back to it and fit the caliper carrier and then the caliper and the pads and put the wheel back on. That should all be done and dusted then. Oh yeah, and by the way, you've got to loosen the brake fluid reservoir again. And obviously again, if it's too full, then you've got to siphon some out. Makes it easier to wind this back if you don't, it's under pressure and make it really difficult. So again, I've serviced this one. Service the sliders, look. They go in and out. Right, those new bolts were in the pad pack. So again, a bit difficult to go wrong because the slider's got to face the inside. But we're going to use the big bolts, these original ones. Well, I can see them. There they are. So one into there. Got my hand tight. And the other one at the top. 15mm, according to my socket. That's better. Now we can see what we're doing. So guys, compared to the front, this is going extremely easy so far. And whether I should say that and tempt fate. Here's my extra trying to get in on the filming again. I didn't ask for any extras. We're not hiring at the moment.
I think you need someone. All the trouble you've had.
And what you're talking about, it's all gone easy. Not caliper carrier. Torque rating. It's 84 foot-pounds, not newton meters. Newton meters is about 115. But my torque wrench is foot-pounds, and that is the equivalent to about 84. So in case you're wondering, torque wrench has got settings on it, and you twist the handle up to the correct setting. So I'll set it on 84 and show you. So, I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but that's set to 84 foot-pounds. Trouble with doing it on your drive, obviously you've not got as much space as you would on a ramp. Right, hold it on. That's it. That's it. So, as before, on the front, in part one, I serviced the sliders. Let's just take these out a minute, because that might confuse you. So, these pull out, these are a rubber grommet. If they're damaged, you just pull them out and put new ones in. But this is a pin about that long that slides in and out of the carrier. So this helps the caliper to open and close on the pads. I've also reused these springs for the pads, and the same on part one, the lugs face outwards away from the pads. So at this stage, now, we can put the pads in, then we fit the caliper on, reconnect the brake cable, job's a good one. Right, so I get the pads, which is a small set. So if you watch part one, there was a big set, a small set. Now, on these set of pads, there's that pin. And that pin is the bit that slots in to the piston on the carrier. Those two notches where I said you had to line them up at 90 degrees. As it happens, all four of my new pads have got that pin on. Some brake discs don't. So you need to make sure that the one with the pin, if you've only got the pin on two of the pads, is on the inside to fit into the piston, not the outside, but with minus on all four. I've also got a sensor on one. I can't see where the sensor goes. No, that's not it, because that's the ABS. The sensor must be on the other side, because it's not on this side. Anyway, same as the front as well. Copper grease on the two ends. These two lugs on the ends. Just a little bit. So it stops any brake noise. Oh, it's catching on a clip. I'm an idiot. Catching on the clip, guys. Let's try that again. There's another one. There we go. That was easy. Oh yeah, it's just catching on the clip a bit weird. But there's the pin I was talking about. So we've got copper grease here. Same as before. On the back, in the middle, on this side, top and bottom. Right, so next the caliper goes on. So the caliper, fixing points are on these sliders with the 2 new bolts I had, which I've put down in there, can't find away there. These 2 new bolts, they were in the brake pad box, so they go through the caliper and into the sliders. So we'll have a go at that. Now if we've wound that piston back far enough, it will sit over the pads. If we haven't, then it won't, so we'll have to take it off and wind it back some more. 12. And again, what I'll do is I'll start it off with a small ratchet. Right, so we're still hooked up on the hook. So we unhook the hook, making sure everything's free. Okay, so it's catching on the handbrake cable that I've loosened off. Right, can you see that going in through here and into the slider? Just trying to see if there's a way of seeing, if that makes sense. Oh, all in there somewhere, mate. Right, let me just show you. See this bit? The slider's turning as well. So what we want to do there is go and get a 21mm spanner and hold that. Because if that grips a grommet, it'll just twist it round and split it. So that goes on the slider. I'll get back on there. I might edit that bit out. Or I might leave it in. Just nearly broke my cheekbone with my spanner, slipped off. Never mind. It would just about be my crowning glory. 24 hours in A&E, fractured cheekbone. Never mind. Anyway, so just tighten these. 22 foot-pounds. And even short goes out low. There it does. That seems really low. That's it already. That does seem really low. Anyway, that's what it says. Right, just got the brake cable to put back on, and that's this side all together, and we can put the wheel back on. Now the last bit. Connect this back over here, just hooks over. You just push that back with a pair of pliers and hook it over. Okay, just put some grip on it, lever it out, and hook it back on. There we go. It's back on now. Make sure everything's in the right place. Like it should be. Is that happy with that? Happy with that? This bit here, I'm going to bleed them. So you shouldn't really need to bleed them, but because I'm weighing the piston back, I'm going to, in case somehow some air go in there. Don't then put both wheels back on. That kind of makes sense in my head. Whether it's right, wrong or not, I don't know. Put you on pause. Hi guys. So that was a journey and a half. Doing the brakes. Bit stressful part 1, part 2 was nice and easy. If you're going to have a go, make sure you've got all the tools, at least I used, and if you're not very good with tools, then get the garage to do it. I would suggest bite the bullet and pay the price. So just going to run through most of the costs. So we'll start off with the brake discs and pads that I bought from Euro Car Parts. I was very pleased with them. their prices. So yeah, £200 for the brake pads and the brake discs and the grease and the clutch and brake cleaning fluids. That come to £200. And then there was tools on top of that. So in no particular order, I bought a screw extractor set, which was £8. Impact bolt extractors. So that was the bolt I took out of the brake disc that sheared off. That was £25. An adapter for the breaker bar, that was £8. The 65mm socket, that was £29. The bar that come with it, that was £32. The half drive T50 Torx, that was £7. The 36mm deep socket that I had to go off and get, that was £21. The new socket set I bought, that was £61. The pair of gaskets was £34. Oh, brake. I don't think I filmed it because it was on the opposite side of the rear discs. But the springs in the brake caliper, there was one missing, so I had to go and buy a set of 4 because you can't buy one. That was £15. There's a few other things I've probably forgotten that I've purchased and not mentioned, but that total comes to £440 plus whatever ancillaries I've forgotten. So quite a lot of money, but I was quoted mid 500s, so I've probably saved myself roughly £100. Was it worth it? For the experience, yes. Saving money and time, definitely not. If I'd put it in a garage, they would have done it in a day. Easy, because they've got all the tools and they've got the knowledge and, you know, they've got the ramps, the lifts and the pits they work in. So they would have done it in a day. So if you've never done it before, bite the bullet, pay the price, put it in a garage. If you're good with tools and you've got the time on your hands, then have a go yourself. The only thing is, in part 1, when I was doing the front, if I hadn't managed to get that disc off, I couldn't have put it back together and drove it, so I would have had to call somebody out, and that probably would have cost a small fortune. So if it all goes wrong, So yeah, if you're confident, have a go. If not, then don't, is my suggestion. But I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I hope it's giving you some insight to what's involved. Yeah, so give us a thumbs up, give us a like, comment and subscribe. Be much appreciated. Cheers for now. Big Foz.